Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Ismono Commute, the series where I use the short time that I have in the car when I'm going to the gym, to work, or right now to meet up with a buddy, to talk about movies, series, and whatever I like. Please keep in mind, don't get distracted while driving. I intentionally either use an action camera without a monitor, or I switch off the monitor on the camera that I'm using at the moment, which is the Pocket 3. I switch it off. Do not get distracted. Please drive safe and do not text and drive. So today I'm talking about the third part of the Harry Potter series, which I read or listened to in an audiobook version that was read by Stephen Fry, but also about the movie. And the third one is actually a very important part of the series for me, because when Harry Potter came out, especially the first and the second movie, I was always under the impression, oh, these are kids' movies and I am not that interested in it. However, for some lucky reason, I think it was just running on TV or something, I watched the third part of the Harry Potter movies, and I honestly was hooked. I was surprised. I watched it and I thought, wow, this is much more dark than I would anticipate for a kids movie, and it's not in the line of a adult horror movie, but it is starting to be scary, and I can imagine smaller kids or youth considering this a little bit more in line of a horror film, and I think it is much more suitable for adults, more or less. So that actually got me hooked into the Harry Potter series, and I thought, okay, this is much more interesting than I thought. Let's just read the first and the second book. So I read the first one and then I was hooked. I read the second one, read all of the books in German, in English. I listened to the German audiobook read by Manteuffel and the other guy, Rufus Beck. Then I listened to it in the English version by Stephen Fry, which in my humble opinion is the best version. And I always listen to these books. I rewatch the movies right now, and this is the review about the third one. And I'm always struggling to do a synopsis without spoiling too much, so bear with me if my synopsis might be not as full-fledged or might have tiny spoilers, but I try not to spoil anything. The third one is, as always, Harry starts at home with his legal guardians, which are his uncle and aunt, which treat him as a second-class citizen, basically. They treat him like crap. And the sister of his uncle comes to visit and treats him very badly. Talks about his mother badly, and it happens that accidentally, due to all of the emotions, Harry enchants or puts a spell on the sister of his uncle, and she inflates basically and floats away. He thinks he broke a law, because if you're underage, you're not allowed to do any magic outside of the school. So he was under the impression that he broke a law, and he runs away from his uncle and actually sees something in the bush, but then because he thinks he's supposed to defend himself, he takes out his wand and waves it a little bit around, and then a bus stops, because that seems to be the international sign for this kind of bus for stranded wizards. And he gets to the wizarding world and meets, for some reason, the Minister of Magic. He is still under the impression he broke a law, but is surprised that the Minister of Magic is like, oh no, everything is okay. And he finds he stays at a hotel and until the school year starts, and he sees some news about a prisoner having broken out of the most secure wizarding prison in the wizarding world, which is Azkaban, and that escapee, is that the right word, is Sirius Black. I was stumbling about his name. Sirius Black, and the whole wizarding world is afraid of Sirius Black, that he actually was able to escape the prison, and he is supposedly also a very dangerous wizard. So the whole book is all about Sirius Black, and for some reason he is trying to get to Hogwarts, which makes the whole school year even more exciting and more thrilling in a way. They noticed that Sirius Black is to some degree connected to Harry. And I don't want to spoil too much, but it's all about Sirius Black for some reason trying to get to Hogwarts. And I don't want to spoil anything more, but let's go into what I think about this book, but also about the movie. As I said, the whole story is very exciting and very thrilling, and almost in line of a dark dark thriller. I don't want to call it horror film or anything. There are some aspects involved that are in line with horror film. I think I don't want to spoil anything. I want to be careful about that. But going into the movies, the first and the second movie felt to me a lot like kids' movies. The third one is actually a new director who actually also directed many of the following movies, and you can actually feel it. It's much more darker, it's much more geared towards adults, and you also notice that starting from the third movie, the third book, all of the books are getting longer. Therefore, they had to cut a lot of details in the story of the books, but to make the whole storytelling much more fluid, because you don't want to cut out something and then it gets a little bit weird in the story. They had to change a couple of things. If you watch the movie right after you read the book, like I did, those changes can be a little bit jarring, but if you have not read the book, it's actually good, because you still understand the story and you don't miss anything. In the later movies, it's a little bit different, but in this one, it's actually still very concise and very good told. And yes, there are parts missing. Yes, there are parts changed a lot, but it's not to a degree that if you just watch the movie, that you will get confused or that you will miss something. That being said, I would highly recommend to read the book. If you're not into the series yet, you can. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can actually just start with the third book, because they do explain a lot. If you do not know the first and second book, and if you do not understand the lore yet, they explain quite a bit in the third book. And you won't get lost in the lore. Yeah, but as I said, I would recommend to start with the first book. But if you always were under the impression, like I was, that these are kids' books or kids' movies, and you're not interested in them, start with the third one, or start with the third movie, because as I said, the first and the second movie are a little bit childish, but the books are great. So start with the third movie, see if you like it, maybe even start with the fourth movie, just to yeah, tip your toes into it and then go into the books or into the audiobooks that are read by Stephen Fry. Those are amazing. If I had to rank them, as I said, this book, this movie was the start of me loving the Harry Potter series. Then I would rank it fairly high. However, it's not my favorite book of all of them. There are much cooler books starting from here. But this book is the best book to get you into the series if you're an adult. If you're a kid, start with the first one. You will love it, of course. But yeah, it's a really, really good start into the series and to get you hooked. So yeah, as I said, trying to review books or movies that are part of a series for me is really difficult, so I hope this was still interesting to you. So let me know, did you read the Harry Potter series? What did you think about this third book? How did you get into the Harry Potter series? Let me know in the comment section below. And like always, if you have any more questions or ideas of books recommendations that you think I should read, let me know in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, click the like button. And please feel free to check out my Instagram, main channel, and podcast at You Know The Bow. Stay safe and healthy, everyone. Also, please do not text and drive. Always drive safe. And I see you in the next videos. Thank you very much.